I can't read a book if I don't have my wife's tiny feet in my hand.
The most unique beauty standards in the world.
Foot binding. This was probably one of the first cosmetic surgeries that was out there.
They literally crush their feet.
So, Maggie, I have a question for you.
Go ahead, ask away.
Would you rather change your body to find happiness or stay yourself forever but alone? Like forever and ever.
Forever alone?
Yes.
Like you can't even have a boyfriend.
No boyfriend, only cats.
Alone. I wouldn't change. No, yeah.
Really?
I would stay alone. I think like I wouldn't mind
That's
changing my
crazy.
body, but if it's because I have to find a boyfriend, then like no more. Like I don't want it
She's
anymore.
an independent woman. She don't need no man. No, I would change my body.
No standards. No self-respect.
Yeah.
No, but I get it. Like I would change my body, but I feel like
But also, like, if everybody's doing it, are you strong enough to be like the only one who's out of the norm?
like I feel like I'm saying it out of hypocrisy, right? Like I think I would be fine changing my body
Uh-huh.
as long as it's not for a guy, because I don't like the connotation. But at the end of the day, even if I think myself that it's not for a guy, at the end of the day, why are you trying to change your body? Why are you trying to
For yourself. It could be
to
for
fit-
yourself.
I think most of the times, like subconsciously, it's to fit a certain like social image. I mean, the way that I'm saying it is a little hypocritical, but like I just don't like the connotation. If you just tell me like do it for a guy, I would say no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No, of course. I mean,
yeah.
would I say no?
You would say
anyways.
you're a simp. You would say yes. Your boyfriend. Okay, what if your boyfriend like comes to you and he's like, "I don't like your nose. Go change it." What would
I
you do?
change it. I don't want my
Really?
nose near.
Bruh.
Okay. I have nothing to say.
But like,
Good, good for you. Good for you.
let's say you are willing to change some things. What would
Okay.
be the extent?
A procedure that I'm okay with even before having a
Exactly.
boyfriend, that's fine.
I think that's for me too. Like,
Yeah.
it's something that I may or may not have done it on my own will too.
yeah.
Yeah. I think we can shake on that.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go. But yeah, because I thought about this because there's a lot of like sickly beauty trends, around the world or in some cultures. Have you heard of some?
What do you mean by sickly? Like, do you mean in Asia when they want to be really skinny?
Yeah,
Or-
that, but like even more extreme, like the extreme corsetting. Let's say in the Victorian age, where like your waist is like that big.
Right. And also, like in some tribes, right?
Yeah.
There's what was the tribe name again? Like the
The one with the ring around her neck.
yeah, like the long. They stretch up their neck.
That's
Every year they try to like they add a ring.
or also the lip plates.
Oh, I've seen that. I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of pictures of
That's
that.
crazy. I've heard that at first it was to disfigure a woman so they don't get raped by other tribes that conquer their village. But then with time, it became a beauty standard.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Have you heard about like the food banding in China, in
Oh my
ancient China?
Yes, I was so obsessed with that.
I'll first let you know what's the whole process and the origin, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you why it fascinates me.
Okay.
Basically, nobody really knows exactly what's the origin of foot binding, but a lot of people believe that it was during like the late Tang Dynasty. There was a emperor that really liked one of his concubines to dance with her feet in like bandaged, and it was kind of bandaged up where it formed like a half moon shape. And like imagine like ballet. I think it's kind of like a ballet feet, where when your feet is kind of like do 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 do. Yeah.
That makes sense. Because I think in China they really like girls that are like petite
Yeah.
and like they look like they're gonna
Frail.
be
I mean,
blown away by
It
the
depends.
wind.
I mean, it depends on the time during the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
history.
right.
Some,
Mhm.
but there's some times in histories that they do prefer like the frail-looking women, like really thin, and I think it might be during that time. And because that concubine started getting a lot of love from the emperor by doing this, all of the other concubine, other women in the palace started doing the same, and then it slowly like got out of the palace.
So she's an influencer,
y-
and people got
basically.
influenced.
basically Kylie Jenner.
Nice.
Yes. So yeah,
She's the first creator of micro trends.
the micro trends. No, it's more than a micro trend.
Macro trends.
There's like 5 steps, not 3, 5,
Five steps.
stages that I have to go through, and usually the little girl starts around the age of 5 and 8, like between 5
5 and 8.
Because I think if you start too early, like before 5, your bones are too frail and it'll be like broken and you might become handicapped. And if it's after 8, not
already
malleable,
formed,
only
yeah.
4, not malleable enough to be broken, basically.
No,
So,
but that's crazy. It's so young.
very young, and it lasts around 3 years, the whole process. So I'll let you know
Okay.
quickly
tell
what
me-
are
Yeah.
the 5 stages. First, you will have to break all of your toes except for the big one, the big toe, and you break them and you bring it towards the middle of your feet, basically.
Like you break the bone.
You break the bone,
my God.
and so your feet look like that, basically. And then you bandage it up, you sew it up, so you sew out the bandage, and that's how you start it. And then the second stage will be throughout like half a year, where every 3 days you will change the bandage to clean up like the pus and the infection, because basically you're like breaking your bones, right? During that time, every time you change the bandage, you'll have to tighten it even more. So you bring your toes more to the middle and your heel also more towards the middle, which then leads to this third stage.
Wait. So they can also, because the heel is very, like the bone in your heel is very much solid. It's
Yeah,
like, and
but I
they're
mean,
able to bend it towards the middle.
You're not
too?
bending. You're not basically bending your heel, but more so like the top
The
of your
arc?
the arc.
Oh.
So like let's say that's your feet. Your feet will start doing something like this. You know, you start like squeezing it in. Wow, that's your feet basically. Anyways, it leads to this third stage. Your toes that have been broken into, they will become flat because you also have to learn how to walk during the whole process. Like you're not sitting on the bed while your feet is broken. You have
So
to walk.
with your blisters, all the
And your
pus.
broken bones, you have to walk. Cause you know, in the time you have to, if you're like a well respected woman, you walk in a certain way, and they have to learn how to walk like that with all of everything going on down there. So then also your feet will start developing like a triangular shape. Like I think that's what they want. They want like triangular looking feet.
To emphasize the half moon, the crescent.
Well, yeah, the half moon, but also like on top, you know, since your bone is broken, it's like a triangle too. Like a triangle on every sense of the way possible. Fourth stage, it will be to get your feet as thin as possible, because also we don't want fat feet, because fat feet, ew. We want we want no fat on your feet. Since the bandage is so tight, it kind of cuts off the circulation on your feet, and therefore your skin starts like dying and rotting, and it becomes like dried-ish. So you get like a pretty dainty, thin little feet.
How is it dainty if it's bloody with dead skin, filled with blisters and pus?
And you know that like since the bandage they use, they
Yeah.
can be like shown to other people, and so they wash it. And when they wash it, they can't let it dry like outside. They let it dry in the room, and therefore their whole room will smell like. Well, I mean, you can imagine how it smells like. But apparently, a lot of guys get turned on by that, which is questionable.
Okay.
Anyways, all of that leads to the final step, where you further bring in your toes and your heel, and to really like develop the whole shape and get it as small as possible. Like I think the feet can be like that small, because I remember my mom used to tell me that her grandma had small feet, like her foot was bent basically. And
Okay,
her
so
feet
it's
was,
a
like,
so it's a very recent thing. Like
it's not. Well, I mean, it lasted till quite recently. Yeah. It got demolished like in the 20th century, I think. The feet is it looks like nothing. It doesn't look like a feet. I think it looks like a sheep hoof.
what the hell? Okay. Why would people do that to their child?
I know, right? It's fascinating, because at first I thought that, you know, you have to do it. It's like a social construct. Like you do it because women are better controlled like that, so they can walk around. So the husband can better control their wife. Yada yada. Like this is more logical, but I actually didn't know that there's a lot of sexual undertone with feet bending. So let me explain what I meant by this. So in ancient China, actually, your feet are considered like a really intimate body part of yours, right? It's kind of like your
Even now, right?
Is
That's
it?
why people have feet fetish.
I guess so. I mean, even more back then.
Okay.
You're not supposed to show your feet to anybody else except for your husband.
Oh,
Any other
okay, okay.
guy,
In
basically.
That
Yeah,
sense,
in that
okay.
sense. Like, otherwise, I don't know. You get whatever, amputated, maybe. No, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, so already there, you can see that there's a lot of intimacy attributed to feet. So, I guess it's not surprising then that they have sort of a sexual undertone. And also the feed binding, like people who praise feed binding are often scholars or people like in like high ranking official like households, because only rich people can afford to get a wife that has her feet binded, and also only rich family can afford to can like make their child go through that process.
Why? Like, how much?
Because like imagine if you're just a commoner, you have to work, you can't, because once you have like
right,
tiny
right,
feet,
right.
you can't really walk around.
Okay.
So
like, even though you learn, you still like you can't walk around normally.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
And
You
you can't
can't-
do labor work.
you can't do labor
Okay.
work, and you can't walk for too long. Since a lot of scholars are the one praising it, and they have like good ways of writing the book they write, they will describe how the feed is like, it's like a little sexual toy to them, as in like they will play with the feet of their wife at night, like they will take it into their hand and play with it, and like
Like a
sometimes like
stress ball
poke it in their nose.
in their
Book.
nose. What?
It's like a book. Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, that is really weird. That's what I found the weirdest. One
Oh.
scholar was saying like, I can't read a book if I don't have my wife's tiny feet in my hand.
Yeah, but
Well,
it's
like,
basically their stress ball.
Yeah, it's
like
just
you know,
a little stress
even
ball.
now, like people have stress balls to
Yeah.
relieve stress.
No, I don't know where that comes from. Like that's kind of sickly. But also another thing is that they actually enjoy watching women walk with small feet, because apparently you can't really walk normally. You kind of shift a little bit because the balance is kind of difficult, and it's the way you walk that kind of make you look more like you're like a model walk kind of nowadays. Where and the guys looking at girls walking like that will like salivate. It was like whoa. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that they think it's attractive. I don't know. That's what's fascinated me
Yeah,
about the
me too.
subject.
But it also makes me wonder, like, because nowadays, if you ask a guy on the street whether they like
Mhm.
broken down, bandaged up feet, I'm pretty sure a lot of them are gonna say no.
Yeah.
So then it makes me wonder, since it was such like a major and a commonly accepted thing, whether attraction and sexual like
Mhm.
preferences are actually innate or are they more a social construct?
Yeah, exactly, right? I also I'm not sure, because like I feel like at a certain point it's like it becomes such a norm, and as we said, right, only the rich people can afford it. So you look up to that even more. So in your brain, it kind of develops like a pattern of like, it's good. Few people can have it, and only the rich people can have it. Therefore, it must be good and praised upon.
What's mainstream actually can dictate individual preferences, right?
Yeah.
Like subconsciously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if everybody around you thinks the same. I think it will be really hard for you to jump out of it. Like your thing of like not changing yourself. If everybody around you is doing that, I think it will be pretty hard for you to say no to that practice.
For sure there's also innate part to preferences, right?
Mhm.
Like the basic attractiveness, you know
Yeah.
how like scientifically it's proven that if you have a symmetrical face you're more attractive and things like that. Like for sure there's innate
Yeah.
parts to it,
But like there's
a lot of it is
social
also
construct. But
socially
also like I don't
constructed.
see any innate like trait with linked with having like small feet. Like why? Like where does that come from?
I think like not to the extent of foot binding, but maybe having small feet in Asia, because even right now it's still very much
But I wonder if it stems from the foot binding, like
probably, but also because a lot of Asian men actually do prefer girls that are more childlike.
Yes, that's true.
So I think like having small delicate feet also ties into that.
also another interesting aspect of food binding that fascinated me is the philosophical questioning it leaves us with regard of women's empowerment and social status. What I mean is that actually, as I said before, only women in rich household can afford to do the whole food binding process, and also for them it's like they are being chosen by their future husband in regards of how small their feet is. Like a lot of rich men, instead of looking at their wife, well, the candidate's face, they'll look at their feet. Well, they wouldn't look at them, but they'll ask like the whoever
measure the sizes.
no, like whoever
No,
is linking them.
An Excel spreadsheet of ranking all the sizes of feet.
Like in Tinder, instead of having like I don't know 6'5" blue eyes, they'll be like how small is your feet. So for a lot of women back then, like their only way of like marrying into a richer household is by having a small feet. Like there's a saying. Well, it's not a saying, but like people I've read people said like, your appearance is innate and you can change it, but what you can change is the size of your feet. So it's kind of like it gives at the same time like how no matter how sickly it is at the time, women will think of it as the only way they can like empower themselves. Kind of it's the only thing that can give them a better life, sort of, which is kind of
because
sick.
at the time, like the women's role is kind of dictated, right? If you're born a woman, the only thing you can do is marry.
Yeah, you can only marry richer
Yeah.
or a better household
Yeah, so the only thing exactly. So the only thing you can do technically.
to achieve that is by having small feet.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think
There's no other way. Like if you look super pretty and have big feet,
I mean,
no one's gonna like you.
no, actually, I don't think so.
Really?
Like that's actually if you have just a normal size foot, like I think no matter how pretty it is, like a rich, respectable family wouldn't let their son choose you because it's not only the fact that it's not pretty, it's just like you're not a respectable woman, sort of. I think at one point, and it was like the Ming Dynasty, it was like the is the queen, I think, and she since they come from just like normal background. Well, they came from like a farmer background, I think. So she has normal size feet, and I think people would make fun of her that she has like a normal size feet,
Okay,
even
so,
though she's a
like,
queen.
Oh my god. So really having a small feet at the time was like the symbol of status.
Yeah, and also it means that you're a respectable woman coming from a respectable family.
Yeah, because it kind of shows that your family is knowledgeable and is cultured, basically.
Yeah,
right?
basically.
Oh my god.
It's kind of that's it. Yeah, it becomes kind of like it trips with your mind. It's like for them, it's the social construct is so sick that such a inhuman practice is then viewed as a hopeful, I don't know, like a hope for young women to like.
It's also kind of a little paradoxical, I think.
Yeah, it is, because like the more you do that, the more it solidifies this whole concept, and
I think that's vicious cycle.
it's a vicious
Yeah.
cycle. Yes.
No, but what I meant by paradoxical is the fact that in one hand,
Mhm.
women kind of think of it as kind of them being able to gain power, right,
Yeah.
in a certain area because they can
Gain the
control,
status,
like they can
yeah.
control something of their life,
Oh,
but at the
yeah.
same time they lose something so important,
as
which is their freedom. Yeah.
to even walk around. Yeah, that's whoa.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I'm glad that we're living in modern
Yeah.
society.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to ask you a would you rather, just randomly. Would you
Go ahead.
rather be a really rich, like really rich, really respectable and loved, noble woman
Mm-hmm.
in the Tang Dynasty, or a poor person in like today's world?
Well, it depends on Tang Dynasty. Like during the earlier Tang Dynasty, I don't think foot
No,
binding
no.
was
During the era of foot binding.
like really rich.
Yeah, really rich, but then if you choose modern society,
Mhm.
it's like you're really poor. You're a farmer, and then
The farmers are rich, bro.
no, but you're a farmer in Asia.
I don't know. Oh my god. I think I'd rather be.
I also don't know, to be honest.
This is really hard.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. Let me think. Let us
Yeah, give
Okay,
us 2
anyway,
seconds.
too bad. It's
You know
not,
what? We'll give you the answer at the end of the video.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
give
then
it-
you guys can
yeah.
write what you guys would prefer
Yeah.
because honestly, it's
a good question. It's a good would you rather. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Going back to the empowerment, the big tangent. But like, just to give you a concrete example of what I mean.
"这比玩重要多了。你必须缠一双完美的小脚，媒人啊才能给你找到好婆家，啊。"
There's actually a memoir of a victim that had to go through the whole foot binding process, and in her memoir, she was saying that when she was really young, she was kind of confused as to why she had to go through it, and it was done by her to her by her closest family. I think it was her aunt, because her mom died when she was really young, so her aunt was the one who went like bounded her feet and all, and she was like, at the time I don't understand, and I wonder, does people actually find it pretty to have such horrendous looking feet? But then after she married rich, like I think she married a pretty, because her family kind of got broken down at one point, so then she married a richer family and had a good life, and had the status. She was kind of glad that her aunt did that to her. Well, her dad and her aunt made her go through that, so it shows how how
yeah,
controlling that whole mind is.
But
that
I think it's
mindset.
not, at this point, it's not just this process that's controlling. I think it's more the way that the society is structured for women.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
Because if they didn't have the structure, she wouldn't even be put in this situation.
Exactly, for sure. I'm just saying, like, as an individual in that whole
for
society,
sure.
like, you can kind of see how she doesn't really have any other choice, basically. It's like her aunt didn't have any other choice. Like, I think in her memoir, it was also said, like, her aunt told her, it also, like, hurts me to do it to you, to see you in pain, but, like, if I don't, I will have no face to face your mother after my death, because, like, I would have failed you as your aunt, basically.
Yeah, because it's the only way. It's kind of, her aunt is trying to provide her as best as she could, like a better future for her.
Yeah, it's weird because like she's doing it out of love, but then
it hurts her.
Yeah, it hurts her. And
but it not only does it hurt her, but it also, like, in some way, it's actually useful. Like, it actually helped her, right, in the future.
Yeah, it did help her, but at what cause, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of.
But
like
at the
that.
same time, like, what else would have happened to her? Like, would she
Exactly.
marry? She would marry poor, and then she would live a miserable life. So I guess it's very tough because women back then, they didn't have a lot of choices.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
basically
that's-
exactly. They don't have any choice, and
it's like choosing the worst, the better evil.
the
right?
better evil, kind of. So just to give a little TLDR on the whole story, because I think her story is kind of fascinating. What ended up happening is that she married into the rich family. She gave birth to a little girl, but the family was not happy about it. Therefore she got kind of kicked out. I think the guy married another girl. Like he got another wife, and then the family kicked her and her daughter out.
I think it was because the other wife had a smaller feet.
Maybe she lost the feet Tinder. Yeah, so she got kicked out, and then she met her second husband, which was a professor. And the professor was really good to her and her daughter and had more progressive views, so he encouraged her to let her feet go, basically. And
wait, so even after your bone and everything is broken down, you can still let your feet go?
you can kind of let it go, but like she also said that it's a really long process. Like she didn't know at first, and if you just drop the bandage and all, you can't do it. You'll hurt. I don't know what happens, but like you can't. Basically, it's also a really long process where you have to like loosen the bandage little by little throughout like a long period of time, and then your feet somewhat like it doesn't go back to normal, obviously, because your bones are broken, but it somewhat goes back a little bit, I guess. I guess your bones are still broken, but I guess you can kind of like relax the arch a little bit and stuff like that.
At least they have blood circulation.
Yeah. It's not rotten anymore. Yeah, so that's her second husband, but then they got separated during war. It was during the time where like Japan, like Second World War, basically. And then she, at the end, she met her third husband, which he was really good to them at first too, but then she quickly discovered that he liked small feet, and he little by little said like, oh, you should start binding your feet again. And she, because like she loved her husband to please him, she started binding her foot again.
Oh.
Yeah, she
She
went
went
through the
back.
whole process again. But then her husband kind of like turned his gaze towards her daughter, and he wanted her daughter to bind her feet too. And that led to her daughter to like flee away from not flee away. That led to her daughter to run away from home basically. And after a while, I think she came back and explain the more modern view to her mom, and together they saved up enough money to leave her husband. Yeah, so good.
Wow, that gave me chills. Like, good for, like, I have so much respect for the mom, for that lady, because she was born in this mindset, but then she recognized the fault, like the bad things, and then
and accept and
yeah,
yeah,
out of love for her. I think like a lot of it comes from out of love for her daughter,
course,
right?
of
Like she
course.
didn't want to see her daughter suffer like she did, so she accepted a view that she was completely unfamiliar
yeah,
with.
it's really because it's really hard for people to change her view.
Yeah, especially like when you say her daughter ran away and she seemed pretty old already,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So the mom is probably already like way
Really
older.
old. I think when she ran away, she was like 15. Her daughter.
Yeah.
so-
And the fact that the mom is willing, like, is able to change her mind for her daughter and understand, like,
yeah, I guess it shows
that's so
like,
touching. That's so cute.
how strong mother love is. It's a good end, I think, to the story. Even though she went through a lot,
Yeah.
the woman, but it's a good end to the story. But yeah, I don't know. We should go back to our would you rather.
Oh, okay, you're done. That's it. So now it's our time to answer my
The-
question. Would you rather
Would you rather
live in the ancient times,
be really rich and have your
feet
little
bound?
tiny
Yeah,
sheep hoof, or live in nowadays and become a Shein worker?
yeah. Which one? Like, if I said middle class, I would say nowadays.
Of
But,
course,
yeah.
of course. Everybody would
But,
choose
like,
nowadays.
like a poor,
Like
in,
imagine like
in a third world country.
yeah, like really really poor that like
and you can't drink like fresh water.
okay.
You have to work.
Every
a
day you have to work like 7 days out of
Yeah.
7, and like you
And you're a girl, so you, even if you live like, even nowadays in rural areas, if you're a girl, you're mistreated and no one wants you.
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
And
I would
you
just
live
get my
like
feet bound.
rats and cockroaches. I think I'll choose ancient time.
Oh my god, but imagine the pain that you have to go through.
I know.
Anyway, let's not answer this question. We're cheating. We're
you
cheating.
guys answer.
Yeah,
You guys,
we're
it's for you.
cheating.
It's for you. So yeah, I'm just glad we live in a modern society and that we don't have to go through all of this. Oh, actually, it made me think of something. Not like a few years back on China, there was like a trending topic, which was I think it was a Taobao store that sells those little like tiny shoes for.
Were
like,
they getting cancelled?
yeah, of course. Like people were like, what the hell?
Okay.
And come to find out, there's a little sort of like kind of like a Reddit community of people that actually want to get their feet binded.
Oh, like girls wanting.
Like a lot of guys, but also girls.
oh my god.
And there was like guys posting like, oh, how can I get my girlfriend's feet to like 5 inches or stuff like that.
Wow,
and-
all the work that people
Yeah.
did to progress society is all gone to waste.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's always like a
Some
small
sick
community of
Yeah.
weird people.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm just glad that like people were like, what the
Yeah.
they
At least they
condemned
got
that.
at least they got
condemned
trashed on.
Yeah, because I
Oh
think
my
the last like factory that made small feet, small shoes for small feet,
Yeah.
closed down in like 1998, I think.
That's so recent.
It's really recent, but like also you have to know that a lot of old people like in the 90s or stuff like that, they still have their feet, and they need
Oh.
those special shoes. So I guess it makes sense like it closed a bit recently, and like Yeah, people don't do that anymore, but except for those sick people. I don't know what's up with them, bro.
Don't
Anyways.
bend your feet, guys.
And be glad you don't live in ancient China. And don't be glad you're not rich in ancient China.
Right, because if you're a farmer, you're fine.
You're fine. You can run around. It's not really fun. But anyways.
Anyway,
See you
thank you
next
guys for watching. And if you like the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.